Hey guys, Dr. Bodle here. And by now, you're probably aware of how important appropriate protein intake is, not only for your thyroid health, but for your metabolic health in general. Now, I've given you a number of different recommendations before to make sure that you are getting enough protein, including the general recommendation of at least 100 grams per day, or 1.5 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight, or even on the high end, 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight, depending on what your goals are and depending on what you're looking to achieve. But what if you've done all the calculations and you're really excited about changing your nutrition, but you're still struggling to get the proper amount of protein in? Well, there can be some good reasons for that, and there can be some not so good reasons for that. So let's dive into it today. And remember, if you like learning about the best natural strategies to support your Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for new videos every Thursday. So protein and the amino acids that make up protein are necessary building blocks for our body's recovery and repair. And when we have thyroid problems, the decrease in metabolism is more likely to lead to tissue breakdown and therefore an increased demand for these necessary amino acids. Additionally, we know that many people with hypothyroidism are looking for better ways to manage their weight. And for the same reason, that slowdown in our metabolism, we can have a change in our total energy expenditure, meaning that we don't burn the same amount of calories as someone without a thyroid problem. Getting enough protein can help out with satiation, meaning feeling full by the end of a meal. It can also help out with satiety, essentially how long we feel full after we finish eating. But the key here is the more protein we include with our meals, the more full we feel, and the less calories we intake throughout the day. And this can help us to better manage our metabolism. But in both of these areas, whether we're looking to support our healing and recovery, or we're trying to better manage our weight, protein can be a powerful ally. And the truth is, for most thyroid patients, they're getting nowhere near enough. But that's why I give you the recommendations that I do. It gives you a framework. It gives you something to judge yourself against. And if your protein intake doesn't look like any of those frameworks, then that might be an indicator that you should start making some changes. But let's say, for example, that you've calculated that for your body, your optimal protein intake is 120 grams per day. But when you track your intake, you find that you're only getting 60 grams per day. And you really don't think you can get any more. So what should we do in this situation? For me, what it comes down to is how you are functioning and how your symptoms are changing. And as I've said before in other videos, these sorts of recommendations and frameworks, they're not perfect. They're just best estimates and best guesses. And although the numbers give us perspective, the biggest indicator of whether we're on the right track or not is going to be how you feel and how you respond. So if you were to come to me and say, you know what, Dr. Brad, I was having 40 grams of protein per day, now I'm up to 60 grams, but I calculated that I should actually be up to 120 grams per day, I'm going to ask how you're feeling. And if you say, well, since making the changes, I'm sleeping better, my energy is better, I'm having less cravings, I'm able to work out more vigorously and not have so much of a workout hangover, then I'm going to say, great, it sounds like we're on the right track, and maybe that 120 gram estimate was a little too high for you. Now, I am being a little bit generous here because I still think that 60 grams per day is a little bit low for thyroid patients, but I want to draw a bit of contrast. And the point here is that by just prioritizing more protein calories, we saw an improvement. And we don't need to necessarily force more protein just because we calculated that we needed more. Especially if you're already feeling super stable with your hunger, and the very idea of trying to force more protein into you makes you feel emotionally unwell and potentially physically unwell. Our body is going to give us feedback. Listen to it. Don't force food into you just to make the numbers work. But on the flip side of that, let's say you were eating 40 grams per day, you switched to 60 grams per day, but you're continuing to have symptoms that are related to the lack of your protein intake. And in that situation, I'm going to give you a little bit of tough love. But it's not tough love for me, it's just me conveying the message that your body is needing something different. You and I can want a lot of things, but sometimes our body doesn't care what we want. I'd like to be able to stay up late and not have it impact how I feel the next morning, but my body doesn't care. It needs the amount of sleep that it needs. And we need to have the same thought process when it comes to our nutrition and the amount of protein that we're getting. My recommendations to help you improve your protein intake is number one, get plenty of protein with your breakfast, and it might be a good idea to shoot for at least 40 grams. It's a great way to start your day, and it prevents you from trying to play catch up, which is a tough thing to do when it comes to our food. Number two, plan your protein intake out the night before. I like to bust out one of my tracker apps on my phone, and I'll play with different combinations of food and see what the results end up being. If I have a better idea of the amount of food that I need, then I can make sure to include those portions with each one of my meals, and I don't have to worry about it so much in the moment. I feel like this helps reduce a lot of the pressure for most individuals. And number three, eat 3 meals per day, as it makes it much easier to spread out your protein intake over 3 meals rather than trying to get it all at one time. Now, of course, as you guys know, I'm not against intermittent fasting, and I think some people with thyroid problems can do great on 1 or 2 meals per day. However, because so many people have issues with energy stability, and many others, sometimes the same people, have issues with their ability to digest and break down food, having too large of a meal or too much food volume at one time can put an extra stress on their body. If you like 2 meals, go for it. But if this is something new to you and you've really been lacking on your protein intake, then most likely the best way is to make that change slowly, and spreading it across 3 meals is a good way to do that. But no matter where we're starting from, most people with thyroid problems can benefit from increasing the amount of calories they receive from protein and reducing the amount of calories they receive from processed fats and processed sugars. You'll feel stronger, more vibrant, and have better energy. And it will also likely help you to cut down on cravings, improve your sleep, and help manage your weight. So if this is an area of your nutrition that you haven't leveraged, maybe you've only been focusing on the types of foods that you've been having rather than the macronutrients within those foods, then I would highly recommend doing some more macro tracking, see where you're at, make some of those calculations, and as your actual intake slowly starts to approximate your goal intake, see how you feel. I'm willing to bet that it's going to make a world of difference for you, and I don't want you to miss out on what I think is a pretty simple strategy. I mean, I'm not asking you to get up at 5 a.m. and jump into ice water. That can actually be a good strategy too, but we'll talk about it on another day. But of course, let me know what you think. Has increasing protein helped you to improve your symptoms? Is it something that you struggled with when you first started making those changes? I always love it when you guys can share your experiences, because I know that someone else out there has been where you were before, and you sharing those stories can really help them out. So thank you for that. It's always a benefit to the community. If you like this video but know that you need more help and guidance, and you're interested in working with me one-on-one, then you can send me an email at contact@seattlethyroidhelp.com, and my staff will get you set up for a free consultation. During the consultation, it's absolutely no pressure. I just want to learn more about you and your health, what your goals are, and if we're a good fit to work together. If I do think I can help, we'll talk about what that might look like, and we'll make a decision together on whether or not we want to move forward. If you'd rather continue learning on your own, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, where I post daily information, tips, and strategies. You can check out any of the other videos on the YouTube channel, or you can grab either one of my free downloads listed in the description box. But that's it for now. As always, you guys, thank you so much for all the love and support. I really can't express how grateful I am for you and how proud I am of the community that we've built. If this video was helpful, please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And I hope that the information is continuing to find you, support you, and allow you to make positive changes. But my name is Dr. Bodle. I hope you have an excellent week, and I will see you in the next one.